Remember to go check out Patreon. And also remember to go down into the comments section and upvote the one that you want to see next Monday. And the choices for next Monday are NASA Day. I don't actually what I'm going to call it in the comments, but NASA will be in there. There'll be Armstrong after the moon landing. It'll be Armstrong at the White House recently. It'll be the Apollo 11 mission. Just be a whole bunch of NASA stuff. Next, L. Ron Hubbard, Black Lives Matter leaders. Today, David Icke won, so we'll be doing David Icke. I'm going to try and hit just key things that he has said that I think most people would be interested in. Other than that, we're not going to study him. Let's get started.
A fake version of history, which keeps people in constant states of bewilderment. And so when my journey led me to start to understand the nature of reality, then from that perspective,
as he's talking this, we're seeing that his body is singing. Now, he has got really bad arthritis, and this video was taken in 2008, which explains the quality. But we already see his hands are in it, and his neck and his back are severe arthritis, which after you watch someone a while and you understand what is restricted in their movements when they have a disease, and his looks like rheumatoid arthritis, you'll start realizing what's a natural movement for him, even in this state. So when we sit there and we say that he's singing, his body is singing to the best of its ability with the disability that he has. And let's continue.
you can start to understand why society is structured as it is. If you've got a transmitter receiver that is in optimum mode and optimum efficiency, you are going to access levels of understanding and levels of awareness that you're not going.
I see how he emphasizes with his eyebrows as he's speaking, and he leans in to the individual he's talking to, which to emphasize, and he's, in a sense, he's selling his belief because he is not in deceptive mode. He's into telling you his facts, his truth. And I've said it before, I say it again. This is a belief system. No matter what side of the aisle you're on, in politics, in religion, no matter where you're at, it's all a belief system.
Ancient and modern, that looks at this reptilian dimension. I mean, when you've got people in the ancient world and people in the native culture.
See there, he did a shoulder. I don't like this shoulder.
Telling you and telling legends and stories about various names they have around the world for this reptilian, non-human manipulation of human society. And then you've got people on the inside, if you like.
Now he talks about people on the inside.
In the modern intelligence.
And he's shaking it off as he is. One shoulder goes up, the other shoulder goes up. It's coming off. He's shaking that off.
Military.
And especially on military. Shaking it off. It would suggest a minor deception. Nothing huge. And we see where he's looking. It's a visual thing, but it's not a... we go and we look on this side of the brain. And it's that part of the brain that can do many things. And one of those is to help construct a visualization. So he's telling us this minor deception. His body says it's a minor deception. And he's in visual construct, but it's not a complete lie. He believes what he's saying. And I want you to think of it this way. In religious terms, if you were trying to convince someone of Jesus Christ on the cross and you needed witnesses to what you're saying, but you weren't there, you would sit there and think about who would be there. Well, it was the Roman soldiers. So they're your witnesses. And they said this. Or they'll say this. You believe this is what they'll say. But still, it's a deception because one, you weren't there. You didn't see the Roman soldiers. You don't know exactly what they're going to say, but you would believe this is what they're going to say. And that is what I'm seeing. He's not searching his entire brain to construct an actual deception. Logically, A, B, C, D happens, so he thinks in his mind, well, we started at A, so logically these things would happen. There's insiders. Of course there's got to be insiders. This is a big secret. Others have to know, and they're going to let it out, and this is what they'll probably say. So it's construct, but it's not the construct in a way of out and out lying to you in this massive deceptive It's a logical mess in his head that explains what he's saying.
Networks basically telling the same, that it becomes
Basically telling you the same is a very big verbal cue.
extremely compelling. And like I say, when it first came out, what now? It's 16 years ago.
We're going to stop this section here. He's going into his reptilian talk. Let's look at that.
Get down to Buckingham Palace then. You're saying you can only be head of state, not only if you're bloody white, effectively, but if you only come from the same bloody family. Ridiculous. Anyway, it's always been and it still is. And so these aristocratic and royal families moved on. Eventually, when the people started to rebel against overt royal control dictatorship, these families, some of them stayed in the royal family.
And we're starting to see his body is singing with him. He had a shoulder twitch, but again, he's got that arthritis and it was only in one area of his body, so we can mark that off. Any tell that is just one tell out of the entire body is just an anomaly, a twitch, kind of like you go get some potassium so your muscles calm down.
Overtly, and there's still some around like ours. But these families moved into politics, into banking, into business, and became the dark suit, but they still perceive themselves as royalty, as special because of this genetic connection to the serpent gods.
Now, he's having a hard time. He does not give eye contact to the audience when he talks like that. And he goes down in a submissive state. It would suggest to me that he knows what he's saying sounds utterly ridiculous. But his body agrees with him. So his mind is saying he believes this. His body says, well, the mind believes, so I believe. Look at that again.
Perceive themselves as royalty, as special because of this genetic connection to the serpent gods. And through the British Empire, the so-called Great British Empire, and the other European empires, as these bloodlines moved up into Europe from the Middle East, etc., they exported these bloodlines.
And of course, he's really stiff here just because of the arthritis.
All over the world. And we saw them in power in what we call colonization. But there's two types of control. One has a finite life, one can go on forever until it's exposed. The one that has a finite life is a dictatorship that the people under dictatorship can see, touch, and taste. Communism, fascism, apartheid.
Now he can keep good eye contact with the audience here because these things are historical facts. You can look back and see it.
People know where they stand and eventually, therefore, they will rebel against it because they know what they're dealing with. The greatest form of control is a control you can't see. Prison without the bars. You can't see the bars because you'll just sit there.
And you see he continues with the good eye contact with his audience. He didn't have good eye contact talking about reptilians, but he's got a good eye contact talking about this. Now, in both instances, his body is in agreement because the body says, well, the mind says it's true, so it is true. But he's not confident in talking about reptilians to a large audience because it sounds ridiculous. And don't fuss at me for saying that. I'm just telling you mentally what his brain says. It sounds ridiculous. He knows it sounds ridiculous, but he says it anyways. But it's his belief. So if you listen to David Icke or you follow David Icke, understand you're following his belief. Just like if you're a Christian, you're following the belief. If you're a Muslim, you're following the belief. It's a belief. And I'm going to quit here with David Icke. If you like it, leave a like. If you like the content, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.